Without any announcement, without any warning, this moment quietly shook the global scene. Welcome to V Effect, BTS's recent live stream. Many things happened that caught our attention, but one moment in particular made the connection between Taehyung and Jungkook crystal clear. It all started when Namjoon reminisced about the live stream Taehyung and Jungkook had done with Jin. Jin commented that he couldn't remember who had suggested starting it, Taehyung or Jungkook. At that moment, Jungkook didn't hesitate for a second. He pointed to Taehyung and said with a gentle smile and a warm voice that it had been him. Jimin immediately chimed in and asked Taehyung why he wanted to start the live stream. Taehyung's reaction was immediate and very much his own. He covered Taehyung's mouth with a tangerine to stop him from talking. It was a funny scene. J-Hope and Jungkook themselves instantly understood the mood and laughed. The body language between Taehyung and Jungkook spoke volumes. The way they looked at each other, the way they understood each other without much explanation, the natural way they supported one another. It was all there, visible to anyone paying attention. That connection feels different, deeper, more intimate, and it's especially noticeable when they share spaces where they can relax. Remembering the live stream they did at Jungkook's house, the difference becomes clear. There they were calm, rested, and acting freely. They showed themselves as they truly are, laughing, sharing comfortable silences, enjoying being together. That atmosphere allowed us to see Taehyung and Jungkook in their most genuine state, with a connection built over time and through real interaction. Even so, there were moments that reaffirmed how close they are. When Taehyung made a meme gesture, Jungkook understood it immediately, as did J-Hope, and imitated it without hesitation. That kind of understanding doesn't appear out of thin air. It's born from spending many hours together, from knowing the same jokes, the same references, the same trends. Taehyung and Jungkook demonstrate time and again that their bond goes far beyond the superficial. When they're alone in their own space, that connection feels stronger, more genuine. And when the environment changes, that essence remains, even if it's expressed differently. Many people can sense this difference, even if they don't always want to acknowledge it. It's impossible not to feel a certain sadness when they're criticized for situations beyond their control. Even so, Taekook continues to show, even in the smallest gestures, that their relationship is based on respect, care, and a real closeness that doesn't need explaining. It's in the way they look at each other, how they respond, how they support each other. And for those who observe closely, that's more than enough. For years, Taehyung and Jungkook have demonstrated the depth of their relationship through their actions. These aren't rumors or fabricated stories, but real moments witnessed by many. They themselves, with simple gestures and clear words, have shown that their love is strong, constant, and full of affection. Nothing in the way they look at each other, speak to each other, or share their daily lives suggests distance. On the contrary, everything reflects closeness and trust. The signs have always been there. Sometimes they appear quietly, almost silently, in a shared smile or a caring gesture. Other times they are so clear that they fill the air and can be felt even through a screen. Over time, these signs haven't disappeared. They have become stronger, more mature. Taekook remains love, a love that has grown without losing its essence. One of the most special memories was that live stream they shared together. It was a moment etched in the memory of everyone who saw it. Taehyung and Jungkook appeared relaxed, simply being themselves. Their smiles were genuine, the kind that come from being with someone who makes you feel at home. There was a different light about them, a joy that couldn't be faked. The atmosphere was filled with affection, with long glances and small gestures that spoke louder than any words. During that live stream, the flirting was gentle and natural, like that of two people who love each other and enjoy being together. They gazed at each other intently, with eyes that seek nothing more than the other. Taekook was radiant, and that radiance came from the love they shared. There was no need to exaggerate anything, because what was evident was authentic and flowed with complete naturalness. Taehyung was clear when he spoke about sleeping next to Jungkook that night, and he didn't say it just once. Jungkook's reaction said it all. He smiled, he seemed happy, comfortable with the idea that for them is part of their daily lives. Their words and gestures made it very clear that they share much more than time. They share a home, a safe space where they can be themselves. That moment inevitably brings to mind the night Taehyung went live from his bed. It was late, the atmosphere was peaceful, and Jungkook was asleep beside him. The scene conveyed peace, trust, and a simple intimacy, the kind that only exists when there's a deep connection. Even the soft sound of a kiss remained a detail many cherished, because it spoke of affection, closeness, and a real relationship. Over the years, Taekook has shared moments like this, small but significant, private moments that, when shared, reflect the genuineness of their connection. They aren't grand declarations but everyday acts filled with love. It's in these details that you understand their bond is real. Taekook is unity, Taekook is home. Taehyung's house is also Jungkook's house, because they've both built a space where they feel safe and supported. The bed they share symbolizes rest and trust, a place where they can leave the outside world behind. That closeness is evident even in simple scenes, like when Taehyung takes the remote from Jungkook without hesitation, or when he falls asleep comfortably on the sofa, like someone who knows he belongs there. Many people have noticed that ease, that natural way of being together. Taekook doesn't need long explanations or complicated words. Their relationship is understood simply by seeing them together, observing how they care for each other, how they seek each other out, and how they choose each other day after day. It's a love story that has told itself over time, with sincere gestures and a connection that remains as strong as ever. Over time, many people have noticed something that repeats itself time and again when Taehyung and Jungkook are together. It doesn't need to be explained or emphasized with grand words. You just have to look at them. There's a very clear way they search for each other with their eyes, recognizing each other even amidst the noise, the lights, or the people around them. Their gazes meet easily, as if it were a gesture learned over the years, something born from trust and shared affection. Between them, there's a closeness that feels comfortable, stable, almost like home. Jungkook and Taehyung move around each other with a calmness that conveys security. They don't change their demeanor when there are cameras, or when someone else enters the room. They remain the same, calm, attentive to each other's small details. This consistency speaks for itself and reveals a deep connection, built day by day. There are simple gestures that say more than any words. Taehyung taking Jungkook's remote control without asking, like someone who knows he shares the space and the moment. Jungkook accepting it naturally without surprise or discomfort. Or Taehyung falling asleep on the sofa, leaning back confidently, like someone who knows that place is safe, that he can let his guard down there. These are everyday scenes, the kind that go unnoticed by some, but are crystal clear to others. Many people have noticed this fluid way they coexist. This way they share silences without them becoming awkward. Taekook doesn't need long speeches or convoluted explanations. Their bond is understood in the way they care for each other, in how they choose each other even on ordinary days, when there's nothing special to show. There's a complicity that feels real, built with time, patience, and constant presence. This story has told itself step by step without rushing. It has been formed with sincere gestures, with small smiles, with glances that last a second longer than usual. The connection between Taehyung and Jungkook remains strong, growing alongside them. It's not about grand displays, but about a closeness that endures, one that doesn't fade with time or change. Over time, Taekook has proven to be a silent source of mutual support. When one goes through a difficult time, the other is usually there, not to draw attention to themselves but to offer companionship. This constant presence acts as a discreet support, like a helping hand that's ready without needing to be seen. They don't seek external approval or validation. Their bond exists for what it is, not for how it appears from the outside. There's something very genuine in the way they care for each other. Every gesture seems to stem from affection and shared habits, from knowing each other deeply. It's evident in how they respect each other's pace, how they adapt to one another, how they find balance even in silence. This way of loving each other conveys calm and leaves a clear feeling. What they share is a refuge built between them, solid and full of meaning.